You're doing the right thing and watching people who do the wrong thing win. They're cutting corners and getting promoted. They're lying and getting ahead. They're living however they want, and everything seems to work out for them. Meanwhile, you're trying to live with integrity. You're being faithful. You're doing what's right, and it feels like you're getting nowhere. So the question hits, why bother? What's in it for me? What's the use of living a righteous life? Job 35, verse 3. Job asked it. You're asking it. Every person who's tried to live for God has asked it at some point. If doing right doesn't pay off any better than doing wrong, if the righteous suffer just like everybody else, then what's the point? Right now you're training, putting in work for results you can't see yet. Your body isn't transformed after one workout. The discipline you're building won't show up on a scale today. You're investing now for a payoff later. That's how training works. Delayed gratification, long-term thinking, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Living righteously works the same way, but most people quit before they see the return on their investment. Here's why you shouldn't quit. First, righteous living pays off even in this life, not always in ways culture measures. Money, status, power, but in ways that actually matter. When you try to obey God, you position yourself to enjoy life the way it's meant to be enjoyed. Your relationships are more faithful. Your life has integrity. Your conscience is clear. Think about the person cutting corners to get ahead. They got the promotion, but they can't trust anyone because they know everyone operates the way they do. They lie awake at night wondering when they'll get caught. They're paranoid, isolated, and constantly watching their back. Now think about the person living with integrity. Maybe they didn't get the promotion yet, but they sleep well. Their relationships are real. People trust them. Their conscience is clear. Which one is actually winning? You're under load right now. It's uncomfortable. It would be easier to quit, to cut the set short, to compromise the form. But you know that the discomfort now is building something that lasts. The easy path doesn't build anything. The shortcut doesn't make you stronger. Same with righteousness. The easy path, lying, cutting corners, living however you want, it might feel better in the moment. But it doesn't build anything that lasts. Faithfulness builds character. Integrity builds trust. Righteousness builds a life that doesn't crumble when pressure comes. That's the first reason to bother. It pays off here, even when you can't see it yet. But here's the second reason, and this is the one that changes everything. This life is not all there is. How we thank God, who gives us victory over sin and death through Jesus Christ our Lord. So, my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and steady, always enthusiastic about the Lord's work, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. 1 Corinthians 15:57-58. Nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. Nothing. Every time you chose integrity when you could have lied. Not useless. Every time you stayed faithful when you could have compromised. Not useless. Every time you did right when wrong would have been easier. Not useless. It all counts. Not always in this life, but it counts. Think about training. You're not just building muscle for today. You're building a foundation that will serve you for decades. The discipline you build here affects every area of your life long after you leave the gym. But even that eventually fades. Your body will age. The strength you build now won't last forever in this physical form. Righteousness, that lasts forever. The character you build, the faithfulness you show, the integrity you maintain, that has eternal weight. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. You can't imagine what's waiting. The rewards in heaven are beyond anything you've experienced or could picture. The person cutting corners for a bigger paycheck, that money spends. The promotion, it ends. The status, it fades. The person living righteously, building something that never ends. Here's where most people get confused. They think faithfulness in this life should result in material prosperity, more money, better circumstances, easier life. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. God never promised that doing right would make you rich or comfortable or successful by the world's standards. He promised something better, that nothing you do for Him is useless, that your faithfulness counts, that rewards in heaven will be more than you could imagine. You're grinding right now, pushing through discomfort, and someone watching might think, why bother? Why not just take it easy? Because you know the easy path doesn't build anything. You know that discomfort now leads to strength later. You know that shortcuts don't work. Same with righteous living. The easy path doesn't build anything eternal. The shortcuts don't lead where you actually want to go. So when you're tempted to ask, why bother, when doing right doesn't seem to pay off, remember two things. One, it is paying off even now, in ways culture doesn't measure but that actually matter. In your relationships, in your character, in your conscience, in the life you're building that won't crumble when pressure comes. Two, this life is not all there is. You're not just living for the next 50 years. You're living for eternity, and what you're building now lasts forever. Be strong and steady, always enthusiastic about the Lord's work. Strong and steady, not discouraged when you don't see immediate results, not quitting when others seem to get ahead by doing wrong. Strong and steady, like training, like discipline, like faith that the work you're putting in now is building something that will pay off, both here and forever. The person who cuts corners might get ahead faster, but they're building on sand. When pressure comes, it collapses. You're building on rock, with integrity, with faithfulness, with righteousness. And when pressure comes, and it will come, what you've built will stand. That's worth bothering for. Not for the immediate payoff, not for the material prosperity that may or may not come, but for the life that's actually worth living, here and forever. Your faithfulness isn't useless. Your integrity isn't wasted. Your righteousness isn't for nothing. It all counts. God sees it, and the rewards waiting are beyond anything you can imagine. So keep going. Keep choosing right when wrong would be easier. Keep living with integrity when shortcuts are available. Keep being faithful when compromise is tempting, because nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless, and what He's prepared for those who love Him is worth every sacrifice. Why bother? Because you're building something eternal, and that's worth everything. Legion of the Lamb, servants united in His word.